Today's a WRAL weather alert day. We do have the chance for severe storms. One of those is to the west of our viewing area right now. I'll show you when we could see some strong storms moving into our area.
Also, a collision at a crossroad. Sky 5 is live over this scene of a crash in Johnston County. Ken Smith will join us with what we know from the WRAL Live Center.
Plus, weakening water rules. The EPA announces plans to roll back standards that would have limited forever chemicals in drinking water.
And closing a loophole. State lawmakers debate a bill that would ban selling raw milk to consumers. Today is another WRAL weather alert day on this Wednesday afternoon. We have a chance of storms. We could see some damaging winds, even some hail out there. Good afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with some severe storms already knocking on our door. Elizabeth.
This one's just to the west of our viewing area. It's actually headed up toward Danville, Virginia. You can see the yellow box there. That's the severe thunderstorm warning. So this one has come just north of Greensboro, again, headed into Virginia. But notice there's a line that's starting to form to the south of that, and that definitely will affect our viewing area. As a matter of fact, let's zoom in on this area to start with. And you can see over here where, first of all, this particular warning is, and it's well to our west. This is Roxborough, of course, so that's going to be well west of a couple counties west of Roxborough. But let's zoom in down to the south a little bit and talk about what's starting to develop across our area from Carthage up to around Sanford to Pittsburgh and then northward. We have this line developing. We don't have any lightning with this just yet, but it's likely that we will, and some of this could produce some damaging wind as well as some hail. So we'll be watching out for that. Now, of course, it looked like maybe from 2 to 10, that's definitely the best chance, but we're already beginning to see that developing in our viewing area. Nothing severe yet, but our potential is for damaging winds, possibly some trees down, some quarter-sized hail, and our level 1 risk does include our entire viewing area. Here's a look at that line. Notice by 3 o'clock, it's moving toward Durham and Roxborough, Southern Pines as well. It continues to move through during the evening commute at 5 o'clock, and then once we get into the evening hours, it starts to pull away. Still could be maybe an isolated storm that develops behind it, but our best chance of strong storms will definitely be from now all the way until around 7 or 8 p.m. We'll talk more about what's coming the next few days after today in just a bit.
Elizabeth, thanks. Make sure you have the WRAL News app with notifications turned on. We will alert you to changing weather conditions and traffic issues across the viewing area.
And happening now in the WRAL Live Center, getting back to that breaking news that we shared with you off the top, let's get right to these live pictures courtesy of Sky 5 this noon hour. You've got Highway 50 shut down in both directions there in Johnston County. This crash, we're told, involved the 2 tractor trailers that you see there, including a third vehicle. You can see this U.S. Foods tractor trailer right there. This other tractor trailer flipped on its side, and debris field all over that road there in Johnston County. Again, this is Highway 50 there in Johnston County. First responders are working to figure out exactly how to reopen this road. Of course, we have calls into the Highway Patrol and local first responders to figure out exactly how this crash happened and the condition of the people involved. As soon as we get any new information, we'll bring it to you here in the WRAL Live Center.
Thanks for that, Ken. Quite a mess. Breaking news this noon. The Environmental Protection Agency plans to roll back rules curbing forever chemicals in our drinking water. These are chemicals that don't break down and can cause serious health problems. Recent tests revealed Wake County had levels more than 5 times the drinking water standard. WRAL climate reporter Liz McLaughlin has covered this topic extensively and joins us now with reaction to today's announcement. Liz.
Yeah, these toxic compounds known as PFAS have already tainted drinking water across North Carolina. Now EPA plans to rescind limits on 4 of the 6 PFAS chemicals it moved to regulate just last year. The decision is drawing backlash from environmental advocates and communities still dealing with contamination. The EPA says it will keep limits for 2 of the most dangerous compounds, but push back deadlines for utilities to comply until 2031. At the same time, it's scrapping limits for 4 others, including Gen X, and launching a new rulemaking process. The EPA says this gives water systems more time to catch up. Some utility groups support the move, saying the smaller systems couldn't meet the original deadline. Melody Banesh with the Environmental Working Group called the rollback a public health betrayal, plain and simple. She writes the EPA is bowing to industry pressure and leaving millions exposed to toxic PFAS in their tap water. Testing shows more than 300 drinking water systems across the state are contaminated at levels above the current EPA rule. That's drinking water for more than 3 million North Carolinians. The EPA intends to revisit its regulatory approach this fall with plans to finalize a new rule next spring.
Liz, thanks for that. As you know, WRAL investigative documentary reporter Kristen Severance co-reported on this important topic with Liz 2 years ago. They spent months traveling to contaminated areas and talking to people forced to use contaminated water. You can watch the WRAL doc Forever Chemicals, North Carolina's toxic tap water, anytime on WRAL.com or WRAL Doc's YouTube channel. Hundreds of jobs are headed to Wayne County. This morning, Prolec GE Waukesha announced plans to expand its manufacturing plant in Goldsboro. Prolec makes power transformers and already employs about 375 people in Goldsboro. The expansion would create up to 330 jobs by 2027. Average salary, just over $71,000 per year. The deal is expected to add more than $1 billion to the state's economy over 12 years' time.
Should raw milk be legal to sell in North Carolina? That's been a hot topic lately at the state legislature, and lawmakers will return to the issue this afternoon. WRAL Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie is live at the legislative building, where that meeting will start in a few minutes. And Laura, this debate is expected to be intense.
It is, actually. We're right outside the room where it's going to take place, and it's already filling up quickly as I'm standing here. You know, this is an issue that's pitting state agriculture leaders and public health leaders against holistic farmers and raw milk advocates, and they say it's a matter of their personal liberty. For a long time in North Carolina, it's been officially illegal to sell raw milk for human consumption. But a loophole in that law allows it to be sold as what's called pet milk. That means farmers can sell raw milk as long as it's marked not for human consumption, and many people go ahead and drink it, and they believe it's more nutritious than pasteurized milk. But now agriculture and health leaders want to crack down on that loophole because of bird flu, which has been infecting dairy herds across the country. Raw milk can contain the flu virus and potentially spread it to people and other herds, something leaders are very concerned about. The Senate Farm Bill would ban the retail sale of raw milk, but it would still allow herd shares, which is like a subscription for a dairy herd for raw milk. That would still be legal. Advocates for raw milk are against this change. They say they should be the ones who decide whether they take that risk, and state lawmakers shouldn't take that choice away from them. This has been one of the most argued about topics this entire session. Just last week, a raw milk advocate was arrested for bringing a gun, into the legislative office building. So we're waiting to see how today's fireworks shape up in the meeting behind me. We'll let you know a little bit later on. Laura Leslie, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, we're tracking some sobering statistics when it comes to overdose deaths in the United States. According to the Centers for Disease Control in a new report released this morning, it indicates the number of overdose deaths dropped in the United States by 27%. The report indicates that 80,000 overdose deaths were reported in 2024 compared to 110,000 deaths reported in 2023. The study also indicates all but 2 states saw a decline. North Carolina is included in those states that saw a drop in overdose deaths.
Ken, thank you. The people charged in a protest at NC Central faced a judge for the first time in Durham today. 4 of the people charged had their first appearances, and WRAL had the only camera in the courtroom. WRAL's Monica Casey shows us what happened.
It was a quick court appearance for the protesters here in Durham County Court today. All 4 told the judge they had hired outside attorneys and declined court-appointed counsel. Mariah Flowers is charged with misdemeanor of resisting a public officer. Jose Estrella faces 3 misdemeanors: failure to disperse on command, second-degree trespass, and resisting a public officer. NC Central instructor Daniel Atwood is charged with resisting a public officer. Michaela Tinsley faces 2 misdemeanors and 1 felony of assaulting a law enforcement officer. In a statement, attorneys for the protesters said, quote, "Our clients, all members of the NCCU community, were exercising their constitutionally protected right to voice legitimate concerns about unacceptable living conditions at North Carolina Central University. Their April 16th arrests were unwarranted, and we will vigorously challenge them in court." The next court date for these protesters is set for June. Reporting in Durham, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
In less than an hour, this Wake County special education teacher is expected to appear in court. Scott Schwartzfeger is accused of abusing several disabled students at Carver Elementary School in Wendell. Schwartzfeger is facing 10 charges, 2 for each victim. According to LinkedIn, he has worked as a special ed teacher for more than 5 years. Investigators say the youngest victim is 5 years old, the oldest is 10. The school's principal sent a letter to parents saying Schwartzfeger is suspended while the district investigates. When we called Carver Elementary School for further comment, the person on the other end hung up. A man is in critical condition after a shooting in Raleigh. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker of that scene on Collinton Road around 8:30 last night. Officers found a man who had been shot. He was taken to the hospital. His name has not been released, and no one is in custody for this crime at this hour.
The city of Raleigh is inviting people to learn more about the future of the city's entertainment districts. It will share a summary of the findings from the Sociable City Assessment. The study analyzed the strengths, challenges, and opportunities of the Fayetteville Street and Glenwood South districts. The event is from 6 to 8 tonight at the Chapel over in Dix Park. Tonight, you can also give your input on how you want county leaders to invest in parks, greenways, and recreation spaces. The county is putting together a 10-year plan to invest in parks and rec projects. They want to hear from you on what kinds of things you'd like to see. A meeting is happening from 4:30 to 6:30 this evening at the New Hill Community Center.
Next at noon, restaurant reopens. Workers and customers returned to Big Ed's this morning after a Mother's Day shooting, while another person has a day in court.
Also, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, the most common factors keeping people from getting treatment.
Plus, time for Artsplosion 2025. And at 12:30, a live interview with the creative director to find out what's new this year.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
Our new news continues here in the WRAL Live Center. I want to take you down to Fayetteville and update a story concerning a gas leak at Pine Forest High School. This happened around 9 o'clock this morning, just after 9 o'clock. The fire and hazmat crews there in Fayetteville got a call of a report of a smell of gas in one of the classroom labs. Well, the hazmat team, of course, performed some tests on that lab to make sure that the students were safe and not being exposed to any toxic chemicals. It was deemed to be safe. All activities are now back to normal at Pine Forest High School as a result of that gas leak scare earlier this morning.
Ken, thanks. A popular Raleigh restaurant welcomed visitors again this morning for the first time since a Mother's Day shooting. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey was at Big Ed's restaurant over on Falls of Neuse Road today as one of the people charged in the case heads to court.
Big Ed's is now back open for business. They're opening their doors just 3 days after chaos broke out at the restaurant. This cell phone video shows people running out of the building after a fight broke out that led to gunshots. Andy Gorley and Bob Sanders are regulars at Big Ed's. The staff knows them by name.
When they come in, some of them come around and say, "Hey, Bob and Andy, how you doing?"
Sanders and Gorley say they were shocked to hear about the shooting that left 3 people injured.
They have good food and good atmosphere, and normally a safe place to go.
One of the suspects in the shooting, Adrienne Barnes, is scheduled to be in court today. She's facing simple assault and accessory charges. 2 other suspects, Alexander Barnes and Jermaine Mitchell, were in court yesterday. The assistant district attorney says Mitchell and his stepson Barnes got into a fight with Mitchell's ex-wife and her new husband. Mitchell is accused of throwing a chair. His stepson is accused of firing shots at the ground. Gorley and Sanders are just glad that the restaurant is back to business as usual.
I'm glad they're open again. Big Ed's well known in Raleigh. They've been here for many years and have a good reputation.
We'll keep you updated on what happens next for those suspects. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. An estimated 1 in 5 adults in the U.S. lives with mental illness, but only half receive treatment. Experts say several factors prevent people from getting help. Things like lack of awareness, accessibility, or financial barriers. In some cases, people avoid therapy because of the stigma attached to mental health issues. Experts say it is important that we talk openly about mental health.
When you connect with other people who have experienced the same thing or are experiencing something similar, your brain says, I'm not alone. There's nothing wrong with me.
Therapists say it is important not to compare your mental health journey to others, and remember that what you're experiencing does not define you.
May is also Women's Health Month, and a new survey is revealing gaps in knowledge. A study from Cleveland Clinic revealed several barriers that prevent women from prioritizing their health. 47% cite the cost of health care. Others report the cost of healthy food or exercise. When it comes to menopause, women remain divided on the use of hormone therapy.
The issue is that hormone therapy is not the right option for everybody, but for some people it's a very safe option and it makes a big difference for the quality of their life. So it really is very individualized decision making, and I think the problem is for too long we've been so scared from risks that we never want to talk about benefits. Patients have to be aware of their risks, but they have to understand the benefits too.
Although women have been historically underrepresented in clinical trials, the survey found that more than half would be interested in joining a trial, especially those focused on women's health.
Your body may be able to predict the weather, especially if you suffer from migraines. Meteorologist Chris Michaels explains the painful relationship between the atmosphere and your body in this edition of Ask the Meteorologist.
I remember back during Hurricane Irene, my brother dealing with a migraine because of just how strong that storm system was. Storm systems, they're areas of low pressure. And when there's low pressure in the atmosphere, the air rises, but it expands. And the fluids in between our joints, they do the same thing. That's what causes some of that pain and discomfort for some of you that may suffer from migraines, or you have fibromyalgia or arthritis or something related or similar to that. Now, over the course of the next couple of days, the air pressure is going to remain pretty close to the average of 1,013 millibars. Heading into the weekend, it may drop a little bit by Saturday, but you notice farther to the north is where the pressure really drops. So if you're especially sensitive, you may feel it. This translates to lower storm chances as well. We're looking ahead to the weekend forecast, by the way, right now on WRAL.com.
Millibars and migraines, they're connected. My wife knows ahead of the storm what's going to happen. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now. Some folks up towards Danville have a headache tonight.
They do. Right now, there's a severe thunderstorm warning in effect, and that is headed straight for Danville. Lots of lightning associated with that particular cell, as well as the chance for some wind damage and some hail. Now, of course, we see a line that stretches from that all the way down through our viewing area. No lightning with this just yet, but I would expect this to continue to strengthen. If you happen to be watching the morning newscast, we talked about the fact that, boy, once the skies start to clear, we're going to add a lot of energy to the atmosphere, and we're going to start to see some of these cells developing. They're popping up a little quicker than some of the models were anticipating. But let's talk about where this is headed. It's moving off to the northeast at about 20 miles per hour. And just a quick smattering of what time you might see this. Again, this is not a line of severe storms, but it is likely to be heavy. And as it moves eastward, it may become severe. So we'll be watching it. A little lightning just started to pop up there just north of Pittsburgh. So Hillsborough at about 1226, Carver at 1229, Chapel Hill 1232, Durham 1259, Apex 106, Morrisville 108. So that's a rough estimate of what time you might see this developing line moving into parts of the Triangle area. So we'll zoom around on it and take a closer look too at where we're seeing that, of course, across our area. Up here again around Reedsville, headed toward Danville, you can see all of that heavy rain and all that lightning. We'll head down to the south. A couple other cells developing down here between Anger and Lillington. We'll likely see those strengthening. This is going to have a lot of heavy rain with it. As a matter of fact, that cell that's up near Danville is producing as much rain as an inch every 30 minutes, so about 2 inches an hour. That's a lot of rain, especially in an area where we've seen a lot of rain recently. So there could be some isolated flooding with this as well. Almost the entire state is under a level 1 risk for severe storms. So wind damage, isolated tornadoes, hail are all possible. I feel like our threat for tornadoes is a little lower than it was over the last couple of days when we had those tornadoes in Edgecombe County. What does a level 1 risk mean? It means isolated severe storms are possible. You notice in that entire line, there was only one cell that was considered severe. We may see more of those, but we're not expecting a widespread outbreak for today. By 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the model has that line sliding eastward. It may be moving a little faster than the models are showing because it's starting to develop faster than what they had picked up on originally. But we can expect a broken line of thunderstorms to move across our area this afternoon. producing some heavy rain, the chance of some wind damage and some hail. Here's a look at Apex, and you're going to again be in that line coming up pretty soon. Looking off to the west there, you can see some of those tall thunderstorm clouds beginning to tower. It's 80 degrees already, and we'll likely climb into the low 80s as we get through the afternoon. 79 Fayetteville, 72 in South Hill. A few more temperatures around the triangle. 80 in Apex, 77 in Holly Springs and Garner. It's 78 in Cary and 79 right now officially in Durham. We check out what's happening next. Again, we're going to see the potential for these showers and thunderstorms to roll across our area. Highs will be in the low to mid 80s. Starting tomorrow, it turns hotter. 90 on Thursday, 93 on Friday, 90 on Saturday, and we do see the humidity really jumping with that as well. So expect it to feel very much like summer starting tomorrow. Today, of course, is a WRAL weather alert day. Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to walk through where those thunderstorms are again.
It'll be sizzling and steamy weather ahead. All right, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Resolving billing issues. The town of Apex shares what's next after residents reported unusually high utility bills earlier this year. The mayor's solution at 4.
And falling behind, more people in North Carolina are struggling to pay their credit card bills. 5 on your side digs into what is driving this sharp increase in credit card delinquencies. That's at 5 o'clock.
It says RUNP.
So it should say Trump.
Should say Trump.
Instead,
it says rump.
Well, that's a botched watch. A man bought his wife this Trump-branded watch, but it was not what they expected. How the manufacturer is stepping up to correct the blunder.
Vacation extras. Airbnb hopes a newly redesigned app gives business a boost.
Hundreds of Starbucks baristas have walked off the job the past few days to protest the company's new dress code. The union that represents the baristas says the strikes have occurred at more than 50 stores. The dress code requires employees to wear solid black tops and has new rules on pants as well. The union says this won't improve operations. Starbucks says there's been no major disruption and most stores are operating as usual.
A Rhode Island man wanted to show support for President Trump and his love for his wife. But the gift.
Your Trump watch right now. Go to gettrumpwatches.com. It's Trump time.
The customer decided to buy his wife a Trump watch after hearing the ad. They visited the website and chose the pink inauguration First Lady model. It cost $640. When it arrived, his wife immediately noticed the name was missing the letter T.
How could they process this and go through something without checking their work?
I'm very disappointed. I want it to be a special thing for her. And we had expected that it would have the integrity of the President of the United States.
The GetTrumpWatches.com site calls its products the official watches of President Trump. But in the small print, it notes that it licenses the Trump name and likeness. The company has apologized to the couple and offered them an $800 coupon for another purchase.
Waterlogged and on edge. People in Edgecombe County are scrambling to clean up debris as they prepare for another possible round of severe weather today.
Get ready for Raleigh's Art Festival. From paintings to carvings to live performances, Fayetteville Street will be the place to be. We'll talk live with the creative director for Artsplosion and what you can expect. Here's a look at the winning North Carolina Education Lottery numbers for May 13th. We'll be right back. You could call this the calm before the storm. Right now, a lot of the area is dry. It's a WRAL weather alert day.
Yes, that means things could ramp up here at any moment. Expected to change over the next several hours. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now. A look at our best chance at severe weather.
And we have a developing line of storms across our area right now, really up here to the north around Danville. You can see that this is a severe thunderstorm warning. Lots of lightning with this, some heavy rain, the potential for some wind damage. Winds for most of these that are trailing out to the south of this are gusting at about 30 miles per hour, and gusts at 60 miles per hour would make it a severe storm. Lots of heavy rain with this. We're going to zoom in over here. This little cell here down near Fuquay Arena is moving to the northeast at about 20 miles per hour. It's likely to move across Garner by about 12:49. Right now it's about 12:30. So these are moving along. We also have more of these that are right here around the triangle area, right around Raleigh. Between Apex and Garner and Raleigh, you can see all of those starting to develop, and that's new since we took a look at this just about 10 minutes or so ago. So a lot of these are going to produce some heavy rain. You can see some of these through Pittsboro. Not a lot of lightning yet, but these are moving into a fairly unstable air mass. There's a 20% chance that we would get a severe thunderstorm watch in this area. So we'll be taking a look at that, and we'll let you know if that does get posted. In terms of our chances for rain, those chances just go up as we head through the afternoon and evening. Coming up in a few minutes, we'll talk more about how much rain we could see today out of some of these cells and going forward for the next several days.
Thanks, Elizabeth. As we prepare for more of these storms to move in, people in Edgecombe County are cleaning up after 3 confirmed tornadoes within a 12-hour span. WRAL's Laura Levine returned to Pine Tops for a look at their recovery.
Today, there is still a lot of damage and debris that remains. Right now, we're standing on Old Wilson Road, where you can see this fairly large tree that toppled over some vehicles, now chopped up into several different pieces here. People who were mostly impacted by this tornado say that, well, they do have a little road to recovery that's underway. Here's a look at some of the crews cleaning up tree debris yesterday as they got a better scope of the damage from the tornado here in Pine Tops. Between Monday and yesterday morning, Edgecombe County saw 3 different EF1 tornadoes, according to the National Weather Service. With more storms on the way, there is some concern about the already saturated ground, coupled with high winds and rain that could bring down more trees, causing additional damage. Meanwhile, some people are still reliving the scary moments of that latest twister that touched down.
When the first alarm went off, I sad to say, I kind of ignored it a little bit. The second one went off. I went and grabbed my son, and my house is not set up somewhere where I can actually hide, so I panicked.
And here on Old Wilson Road, crews are expected to return later today to finish the cleanup in this area. WRAL will continue to monitor the weather moving into Edgecombe County later this afternoon and evening. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Pine Tops.
One more step to keep you safe here. Be sure you have the WRAL News app with notifications turned on, and we'll alert you to changing weather conditions and traffic issues across our viewing area.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center. We want to get right to some new video into our newsroom that's happened just last hour or so. This is video of a car crashing into a building on Benson Road. This is a service road off Wake Forest Road, not far from Navajo Drive. You can see the extensive damage to that building. Of course, they're trying to figure out how to repair it. We're working to find out how this all happened and the condition of the driver involved.
A child welfare services division in our area is being taken over by the state. In a letter, the Department of Health and Human Services says poor management and oversight within Vance County's DSS has led to children being harmed. The letter describes the lengths the state took to support Vance County's DSS, including putting the agency under a corrective action plan back in July 2024. But the state describes significant failures since then. That includes 40 existing cases identified as high risk, where no contact has been made with those families by Vance DSS staff. The co-chair of the state's Child Fatality Task Force, Karen McLeod, describes how serious it is to have the state take over.
That is significant. And as you are aware, it doesn't happen very often. So there has to be very significant deficiencies for that to take place.
McLeod says smaller counties like Vance are at a disadvantage when it comes to hiring social workers because neighboring counties pay more. The letter from DHHS directs a lot of its criticism at Vance DSS Director Sandy Weaver. For more on the letter, go to WRAL.com. This is happening after WRAL's documentary, Broken Foster Care in North Carolina. In the documentary, we exposed major problems in the system. The QR code that you're seeing on your screen will take you to the documentary. You can also go to WRAL.com.
This morning, crews broke ground on an expansion project at Cape Fear Valley Health in Fayetteville. The hospital is adding more than 11,000 square feet to the First Adventures Child Development Center. The four-star center provides child care for children of employees. The expansion is expected to be complete this winter. Booking more than just a house. The new services Airbnb is offering to go along with your rental.
Celebrating art in all forms. Artsplosion takes over downtown Raleigh this weekend. What you can expect this year.
Our teacher of the week is a former military wife who has taught all over the world, but the last 21 years have been here in Wake County. WRAL's Ken Smith is at Wiley Magnet Elementary to show us why this recognition was extra special.
Miss Price, you are WRAL's Teacher of the Week. Congratulations. We surprised Margaret Price on her birthday right after her students serenaded her in their foreign language class. It was clear she is a beloved teacher.
It's just all the love and appreciation that students have shown me is just phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Back in her fifth grade classroom, we learned Miss Price's goal is simple, to help her students achieve theirs.
Anyone else have an opinion?
Miss Price's disciplined approach to teaching instills confidence in her students, which translates into every aspect of their learning.
And when they tell me, I like reading, Miss Price, I didn't like it, but now I love reading. And I think those are the things that bring you back and you feel like you've progressed with them.
Miss Price says hearing from some of her former students sometimes gives her quite a laugh.
I'm graduating, Miss Price, from, I go, high school? No, college.
Well, the laughter, the cherished moments, all numbered. Miss Price is about to retire after this school year with a world of memories and classrooms full of success stories. Ken Smith, WRAL News.
Birthday, Teacher of the Week, those great kids, she's got it all going. If you'd like to nominate a Teacher of the Week, you can go to WRAL.com and enter Teacher of the Week in the search box.
Happy birthday to her and happy retirement. Well, two-day Artists Takeover, one of the state's longest running arts festivals, returns this weekend. After the break, the creative director of Raleigh's Artsplosion joins me live with what you can expect. Also, AI-powered photos, bringing your pictures to life. How a new tool is giving digital creators more control.
There are some storms up to our north towards that Virginia line where Lake Gaston sits, but not hitting the lake right now. We do see the clouds right there as you watch WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device.
We're just days away from one of the most original and longest running arts festivals in North Carolina. We're talking about Artsplosion happening this weekend. And once again, WRAL is a presenting sponsor of this community event. Joining us to talk about this two-day event is Cameron Laws, the creative director of Artsplosion. Cameron, great to see you.
You as well. We're excited to be back. And you're right, we're counting down the days until Artsplosion.
Oh, it's going to be a great time. Artsplosion, always love the name of the event because that really describes the vibe of it. It's an explosion of arts and activities and fun. How would you describe the vibe and what the festival stands for people who've never been?
Oh my gosh, well, if you've never been, absolutely come. But you're right, it is just this activation of both performing and visual arts right in the middle of downtown. And, you know, last year we celebrated our 45th year. So this year,
congrats.
I know, thank you. It's wild. And so this year, for our 46th, we were like, let's bring it back home. Let's thank the people that have made this possible, which is really our community. So we're really doing it North Carolina style this year. We've got bands from all over North Carolina. I've been joking that we're doing sort of like the Eastern and Western barbecue sauce. So we've got the Chatham Rabbits coming from the West. They'll headline on Saturday. We have
They're a crowd favorite.
Oh my gosh, we love them. And we're so excited to host them. And then all the way from the beach, we've got Zach Mexico on Sunday, and we also have an art putt course, so a 9-hole miniature golf course on City Plaza, all North Carolina icon themed. So we're really just doing this as a way to say thank you for this great run that we've had.
And this festival truly celebrates and features artists all across the state, right?
That's right. And, you know, we have people coming in from out of state, too, but we'll have 180 visual artists lining Fayetteville Street in addition to all of those different art installations that you can come experience. So it's a big time, and we just love seeing everybody out there. We're really looking forward to it.
And it's so fun to see all that artwork and take in the exhibits, but also if you want to buy some for sale, that's also up for sale too.
I do a lot of my Christmas shopping right here in May, so that's my insider tip.
Like personalized gifts, right?
Yes, exactly.
So many vendors there, and something new this year called the Song Confessional. What's that
Yes,
about?
so actually that's coming back for the 5th year, and it's really neat. It is like a little Shasta trailer that festival attendees can get inside and give their anonymous confession about anything, and we get wild stuff. So don't hold back if there's something you want to get off your chest. And we then take those and we have musicians write songs based on them. And so it's this project that kind of lives past the festival. And we have it every year. We've had some incredible songs come from it so far.
Right?
So we can't wait to see what we get this year.
That's so therapeutic. And then everybody gets it off their chest, and then it becomes great music.
Yeah, exactly. It's really neat.
There's also the main stage, and there'll be a lot of live entertainment, and Elizabeth Gardner and Ken Smith will be there as well to MC.
They are. They'll be hosting, so come out and see them too. And we've got 2 full days of live music, and we have the Kids Closure stage too with more youth-oriented programming. So there's just a lot to see and do.
So Artsplosure, the Raleigh Arts Festival, this Saturday from 11 to 7, Sunday from 10 until 6. You can't miss the beautiful tents on Fayetteville Street between the State Capitol and the Martin Marietta Center for the Performing Arts. It is free, y'all, and there is fun for everyone. So be sure to visit downtown Raleigh. Cameron Laws, thank you so much for the continued success of Artsplosure, and the weather looks to be ideal for
I think it will be. So everybody
we'll get this
come
rain
on
out of the way.
That's right. That's right. We'll see y'all down there.
All right. Thanks, Cameron. Jeff.
That's what we're here to take care of over here. We had you chatting rabbits. I know that.
Yeah, exactly.
You were in on that, but now we got to clear this up first.
We do. Because we anticipated having some thunderstorms this afternoon, and we continue to have this one cell continue to have warnings on it, and it is sliding a little bit farther to the east. So we're going to be watching, especially for Person County there, to see if they end up going under a warning. Instead of moving directly up into Virginia, this is sliding a little bit off to the east. So, you know, we've had a lot of rain over the last couple of days, anywhere from 2 to 5 inches of radar indicated rain. Let's take a look at how heavily this rain is falling. And you can see here just north of Pittsboro, headed toward Chapel Hill, this particular cell is showing rain as much as 4 inches per hour. We have another one here, right almost here in downtown Raleigh. It's moving to the northeast as well. So headed up toward Wake Forest at about 1 inch per hour. Another one down here in Anger, headed toward Fuquay-Varina, is at about 3 inches per hour. And in Sanford, just north of Sanford, that's going to be headed up towards Siler City and Pittsboro. That's almost 1 inch per hour. Now, that doesn't mean that these cells are going to sit in any one place for an hour. They're moving fast, about 30 miles per hour. But that just gives you an idea of how heavy this rainfall is with this. The other thing that we're likely to see, like we saw yesterday, is hail. And so this is a look at our hail indicator. All these purple spots are where these cells are producing hail. A good bit of that in that cell that's moving up potentially toward Person County. But right here, you can see just
as we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. Breaking news, the Environmental Protection Agency plans to roll back rules curbing forever chemicals in drinking water. These are chemicals that do not break down and can cause serious health problems. Recent tests revealed Wake County had levels more than 5 times the drinking water standard. The EPA says it will keep limits for 2 of the most dangerous PFAS compounds, but push back the deadline for utilities to comply until 2031.
Following more breaking news this noon, a crash on Highway 50 in Johnston County. WRAL Sky 5 was up above that incident in the last 60 minutes. This is near Searles Road. The crash involves 2 tractor trailers and a car.
Hundreds of jobs are headed to Wayne County. This morning, Prolec GE Waukesha announced plans to expand its manufacturing plant in Goldsboro. Prolec makes power transformers and already employs about 375 people in Goldsboro. This expansion would create up to 300 jobs by 2027. The deal is expected to add more than $1 billion to the state's economy over 12 years.
Working long hours could alter the structure of your brain. A pair of South Korean scientists use a neuroimaging technique to analyze brain volume of healthcare workers classified as overworked and non-overworked. The overworked group had significant changes in brain regions associated with emotional regulation compared to the non-overworked group. Researchers believe these findings suggest a biological basis for emotional challenges reported by people who are overworked.
Airbnb's redesigned app now allows people to book catering and personal trainers at their home rentals. Airbnb hopes the update will put it on par with amenities offered at hotels and resorts. The app's new Services tab has 10 categories to select and book, including spa treatments, even catered meals. The new options will debut in more than 250 cities worldwide. TikTok has added a new artificial intelligence feature called AI Alive that allows users to turn their photo to a video. The new feature can be accessed from the TikTok story camera. TikTok says it will enforce safety measures for videos to avoid users creating videos that violate its policy. Once a video is created, TikTok says it will be labeled as AI generated.
NBC News Daily is up next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on